Hi, welcome to SBR TV. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the T. Powell College Basketball Show on SBR TV for February 1st. The SBR poster and college basketball expert T. Powell will continue with his insights into the current situation in college basketball betting in general, and we'll discuss a few specific upcoming games and what the lines might be where he'd recommend a bet at. So thanks again, T. Powell.
Yeah, it feels good to be back. Feels a lot like November again. I took little leave on Thursday. I didn't bet, or actually I bet a couple games over the weekend. Didn't really pay much attention to it. Tried to take a little vacation for the stretch run here in February and March.
Yeah, how do if you have anything to say about this, how do things change when it comes to college basketball betting in February? Do you think the lines get tighter, or do you think it's better? There are more opportunities to correctly assess how teams are doing. How do things change in February, in your opinion?
I believe a lot of times when you have a knowledge and the power ratings wise, it's a lot easier earlier in the year. You have the lines are usually a lot softer. After the public seeing teams play 10, 15 games, it's more difficult to find an edge. But I believe it's still possible.
Okay.
But I believe early in the year are your better money makers. Yeah.
All right. In general, this show's been going well, and the criticism of you has pretty much stopped.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's on my part or just a part of people giving up. Yeah. It's not the latter, but I still feel like the advice given's pretty good. Last week was probably one of the worst. It was definitely the worst week of this year for me. But on the year, we're still up around 15 units. I'm a flat better for the most part, and it's been a solid year. Just trying to finish it out strong.
I mean, I think that the basketball part of this show is great and just going to get better, but I'm just worried about the comedy part. I mean, people are not going to. I don't think people are going to keep making fun of you as much as they were when we in the first couple of shows.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get together about that. I believe we can. Find a few ways to gather some attention.
Okay, good. Yeah, there's one guy who made this guy Peanut, who's a current rabble rouser on the forum. He said this guy is a hick and probably doesn't have cable TV in his hillbilly town. So is that true? I mean, do you want to respond? Do you have cable TV? Honestly.
Yeah. Well, actually, we've got direct actually, but but we do have cable here in the dorm. But
Yeah.
Well, the town I'm from, we do have one stoplight, so
Oh, okay. But you have cable TV access there.
Yeah, we do. Oh. Do have cable. And it's a funny story, actually. We've had it for a few years now.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Well, that's a bit surprising to hear, but good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that you have all those tools that you need. All right, so let's talk about some of the teams that we've been following along with. Mississippi State, Utah State, and Temple. That's who we've been following along with you. Now, Temple, that's an interesting team. They've been a double-digit favorite twice since you brought them up. They covered once, they lost once, and they've got a game coming up at LaSalle. They're going to be a big favorite again. Then they're going to be at home against Rhode Island, where again they're going to be a big favorite. I'm not exactly sure how big, but I know you're very high on Temple, but I'm not sure if the market is offering us any value. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough. I would definitely prefer Temple as a smaller favorite, than double digits. They don't have that, enough talent to just completely run over teams. But I still think the lines have to be a little undervalued. But it could, with one good showing, it could probably reverse trend there. Right.
They got a home game coming up against Rhode Island. Do you have anything off the top of your head to say about Rhode Island? You think they're an undervalued team? Do you think that Temple might get a blowout over them? Or
I had Rhode Island a lot higher than what I do now.
Okay.
I got Rhode Island around a 79, so I'd probably make that game dead on 10.
Right, your original advice at Mississippi State was worth following. That's looking pretty promising. I got an outright win as a home dog against Florida. Mississippi State is clearly playing they're clearly doing about what you were expecting them to do. But upcoming this week, they've got two road games, two tough SEC road games. And in their Georgia game, they were a double-digit dog, and they didn't come close to covering. So I'm concerned that those games might be like that, and that really what you want to find is Mississippi State as maybe a decent-sized home dog, and that when they go on the road in these SEC games, that might not be the place to bet them. What do you think?
That's definitely a valid point. They've struggled a lot on the road. But I'll be betting them the rest of the year, like I said, unless something drastic changes, injury or something. I mean, it's tail to the end for me. Just about. I started The day that Sydney and Boston came back, I believe that was the Alabama game. They got blown out.
Yeah, I mean they'll still be getting a good amount of points on these road games. Just concerns me a little bit because against Georgia they really got blown out and didn't come close to covering. And then Utah State, they again, they're a great team just like you mentioned, but they've been a big favorite. And you said that they weren't the kind of team that you wanted to bet as a big favorite, but they've been a big favorite pretty much every game since we were talking about them. They were 10-point road favorites twice. They've got a couple of games coming up, but they're probably going to be double-digit home favorites over these teams. They were a big home favorite over New Mexico State, and even though they've been winning, they're only 1-3 against the spread in their last 4. They've been big favorites in all those games. So, what do you think? Do you think that Utah State's value is pretty much gone now?
I wouldn't say the value's gone. I just think
pick your spots.
Just situation-wise, there, pick your spots. But I believe they're 4-1 on the year as a dog as a favorite of 10 or 9.5 of under 10, and the only loss was here recently where they I believe they were up 5 or 6 of the half, and they ended up going to overtime and winning by 5 or 6, and they didn't cover that. But that was the first time that they hadn't covered as a single-digit dog or single-digit favorite. I'm sorry about that.
Right. Well, I think they were a 15-point home favorite over New Mexico State, and the 2 games they've got coming up, they're probably going to be double-digit favorites again.